In this video, learn how to use the leader, the leading stock in a hot sector, to make money in other stocks.
Hi, I'm Mike Bellafiore, co-founder of SME Capital, and we're a proprietary trading firm located in Midtown Manhattan. And I'm also the author of the trading classic, One Good Trade, and the Playbook. Click our subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos that we're producing for you in the trading community.
In this video, see how two traders use the leader in the electric vehicle space, Tesla, to make profitable trades in NIO, another stock in the sector. Let's get to work on teaching you this important trading lesson so you can grow your trading account.
Essentially, this is our trade strategy. These are the variables of the stock we were looking for. So alongside the EV sector, NIO was running and Tesla was ahead of the snake. We have WKHS, Solo, and NIO as well. With this type of trade, we want to see a majority green days for the past several days.
Hey, when you say Tesla's the head of the snake, what do you mean by that?
Essentially, we can use Tesla as a guide. Actually, for example, today, Tesla had a double bottom it had a double bottom, so that actually helped NIO also create a double bottom. So stuff like that. Essentially, Tesla would be slightly ahead of NIO with many of its moves, and they're highly correlated, which we can show later on in the presentation. So we basically use Tesla as a guide along with this trade.
Great, awesome.
So we saw a 300% move from earnings initially, as the company results suggested they would not go out of business anytime soon. And we picked up momentum in the sector, posting around 100% move in 4 days. And to this day, 6 green days in a row. And we did work on a script that aligns with that. It focuses on playing weakness in extended names based on specific variables. So looking at variables as a specific trade, we want a clear backside for this name, and it will present itself creating lower highs on the higher time frame. And the backside can be confirmed by increased selling of the tape, offer stepping in front, and creating a wall preventing any significant price increase, as well as bids being unable to step up. So failure to hold above any significant level or reclaim it is also a variable that we want to see as we trade this name. And we look to add on a downtrend characterized by weak pops, breakdowns, and under significant areas. Increase in selling volume as we have breakdowns. Bonus is weakness in the overall sector, specifically, again, Tesla, which is the head of the snake, as we mentioned.
Help me to understand what variables get you excited to spot the backside of a trade.
So it would have to be a combination of the tape, a combination of increased volume, and essentially for the first backside, it is essential. We weren't actually able to get in on the first backside of this, like the very first 3 minutes, but I'd say you can basically characterize a backside by a change in trend, the change in tape, and the change in volume. Those are the 3 main parts that we used, as well as using another name such as Tesla, which would be doing something similar. So using that as a guide is helpful in this trade.
Okay, so maybe I'm too slow. I don't understand what the hell you're talking about. I don't understand how you're defining the backside of a trade. I don't hear you being specific enough for the backside of a trade, and I'm concerned that since I don't understand it yet, that you guys aren't being specific enough as to what you're really looking for. So look, maybe it's just a function of you're saying it here and I'm not following, but try again.
Okay, so maybe I'm phrasing it poorly, but I think the better way to phrase it would be specifically as we see a stock ramp up and show a lot of increased volume, we'd like to see for we look for the reversal on the backside of the move. So as we do that, we'll be watching this closely. And if you're looking at the tape, which we'll show in later slides, we do see increased we do see bids stepping up really fast and catching up to the offers, and we do see offers being taken out really fast, and we see an increased that's just for the initial up move, and we see that initial high climb occur really fast. That's what gets our attention is increased volume. And then for the backside, we'll look for bids to be taken out. We'll look for a little bit of consolidation, a quick consolidation, and then bids to be taken out faster than expected. So that's something that we look for in the backside of this move specifically.
Yeah, so the basis of this backside move is, we obviously saw NIO had a very extended move to the upside with pretty much no resistance. And then coming into the specific day, for example, we were finally seeing some change of character, especially in pre-market. We had that 1435 level kind of like hold the prices down, and we were now.
So let me help here, guys. So when you're looking for a particular stock that's gone up too much, a good way to do it is to compare it to how it looks on its daily chart.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're starting here with 6 green days in a row. And, obviously you saw that the stock was overextended. It's up a lot. You do want to quantify that, though. You do want to say, you want to have some measurement as to what you want to see on your daily chart so that it comes up on your radar. And you want to be trying to define that. So you want to say something like, it's X away from a particular moving average, or it's gone up X percent in a certain amount of days, and it's X percent away from the top of a Bollinger Band. Just to sort of give you guys examples to work with. And then, so that ensures that we got the right stock.
We did create something similar to that. What you said, we did create a filter. We coded a filter, so that basically filters for gap percentage, and it filters for X number of green days. So whatever you want to set is that.
So let's skip to the backside of the trade then. The backside of the trade, I'm just not seeing, based on what you guys are describing, the backside of the trade here. Walk me again through, and I'll listen as carefully as I can.
Okay.
What signals to you guys that the backside of the trade is in? I know what the backside of the trade is for me, and what we would teach. It doesn't strike me as you guys are in the backside of the trade yet. It seems to me you're identifying some weakness in the trade, but not the backside.
A good variable would be to see if it's below VWAP after a recent up move intraday. And I was just talking more, minute to minute basis earlier. I was talking basically for that initial entry, when you want to at least test for the backside of the move, you do want to see the change on the tape and change in character. So basically the bids,
don't see that under variables of the trade. Don't see under VWAP as variables of the trade.
Oh yeah, because this is just when we were thinking about variables of the trade, it's more of for the initial, at least for what I was just describing. I guess I should be adding in VWAP there, but under VWAP. But for a further confirmation of the backside of the move and to continually add on tiers, that move under VWAP will give you more conviction and confirmation on the trade.
Okay, so are you only going to take this trade if the stock is below VWAP or not?
No. So initially you can start off this trade, depending on how you are as a trader, but you can start this trade off. We actually started it above VWAP when it created a double top. And then after that occurred, we looked for the backside of that double top, because that double top easily could have broken through that intraday high, but it didn't. And so for us to determine that, we actually looked at the tape and waited for the change in character to occur. So we didn't exactly get the top of the trade.
All right, so it seems to me that what you're saying is you're looking for a lower high, and that's going to signal potential backside for you?
Yes, but ideally you can get it before that lower high, but we were actually unable to do that. But that's something we said we should work on.
Yeah, so for me, if I'm looking for the backside on something, I want to see a clear change in character. So I think one of the best ways to do that is see maybe like a stuff moved. And so that's exactly what happened at 1530s. We saw stuff move, tried to test it again, and that failed. And then once we got over 15, under 15, that became kind of a pivot point. And so when that happens, I'm trying to start looking for a short position and potentially risk off of this 15. But I'm still not going to be adding in majority of my size because I'm still not getting that confirmation on higher time frame. So you see later in the slides, we kind of like go over that on the technical chart. You can see we had the 2 double stuff moves, and then we were able to later reclaim that, but then we got a significant lower high, unable to get over 15. And then once that happens, that kind of sets the mood for the name. And from there, we kind of just trended lower, and there was just weakness all throughout. So when I'm looking for the backside, I really want to see a clear lower high on a higher time frame. And it's also important when I'm trying to get in, I have a reason to get in. And those two stuffed moves are why I took my first position. But once again, not sizing up until I have that confirmation of significant lower highs on higher time frame.
So I'm looking various the trade and see stuff move.
Yeah, because we didn't put it in because that wasn't like my main position. That was just more of like getting a feeler inside, feeler on the trade.
So why am I repeatedly asking you questions about the variables of the trade?
Because specificity is important for these types of trades.
Yeah, it's not clear to me that you are clear to yourselves as to what you're really looking for, and it's not clear to me yet. And I'll shut up and listen. Not clear to me that it's not clear to me yet that you guys are actually going to show us a backside trade. But I'm gonna watch and listen and be open-minded. So go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, we appreciate the questions. If anything, it helps us.
If you want to learn 3 real-world setups that our traders use, including the simple setup that we teach all of our new traders and the setup that turned one of our traders into a 7-figure big money earner, check out the free webinar that we're currently running. Just go ahead and click the link that should be appearing right now at the top right-hand corner of your screen. That's going to open up this free registration page in the new window. So don't worry, you're not going to lose this video. You're going to learn more in a couple of hours from this trading workshop than from years of online education.
Big picture, essentially, again, the reason why we use Tesla as the head of the snake, we see high correlation with between Tesla, WKHS, and NIO, and other EV names as well, but these are the main ones that we use. Basically, this is just showing how they are correlated, and mostly these two right here, Tesla and NIO. This is the DO chart we have in the background, and this is Tesla overlaid. It just has more dramatic moves, but very highly correlated.
Good, I like that. That's good work there, that you're finding the correlation between Tesla and NIO, and that you can use that in your trading.
Okay, so just going over the fundamentals real quick. Decent ATR for the price, it's like $10, so that's about 10% ATR. It obviously has a high float, and short interest is very important because a lot of people were shorting NIO on the way up, and so that kind of helped with the whole squeeze we had in the opening hour, and then move up into 15. And then really the catalyst, NIO started running as a result of those earnings just before June, which pretty much just stated that they weren't really going to go under business, which is why why this name was down so much. And then a few days prior to the trade, we had that gap, which was because NIO reported June sales jumped 179% year over year despite challenges from the pandemic.
Catalyst is the sector is really hot. You want to say that?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Yeah, for sure.
All right, so a catalyst can be a news catalyst. A catalyst can be a technical catalyst. As part of a news catalyst, a subset can be, hey, a sector's real hot because of recent hot news in the sector. Okay.
Yeah, so just really quickly on the daily, you can see that uptrend from earnings, and pretty much all the pullbacks were on lower volume than the up moves. And then when we broke out of that like sort of kind of a wedge, that's when we had the sales results from June. And then we just, kind of got parabolic there. And that's where we're talking about that 100% move in just 4 days. And then on an intraday analysis, so as I was talking about, we had that 1435 pre-market level where sellers were stepping down, holding this name down. But then towards the open, there was a lot of momentum to the upside. Dips were getting quickly bought up. And then we had sort of a short squeeze / strong momentum move up into the 1530s. And then that's kind of where we got that double stuff move, which I was talking about. And that kind of led me to put on a feeler short, still not looking for that bigger picture trend backside idea. Because that, like I said, I'm only getting confirmation to put on size when I get that second lower high on the higher time frame, which was when we failed to test 15. And this is going to become more clear when we show the tape.
All right, gentlemen, how do you describe a stuffed trade?
To me, it's when we get up into, we're having like an extended move, we get up into a level or an area, and we just quickly reject that and sell off. So for example, just a wick, a really strong wick after an extended move or strong move.
A stuff move is when something's trying to make a new high and is able to actually make a new high, but cannot hold above that new high area. So it's a significant new high of any kind, and it gets above there and wicks a little bit, as you were saying, but then closes on the time frame you're looking at below that breakout area or below that new high area.
Yeah, so then after we had, then we reclaimed over that 1475 area, which became clear resistance. We failed to test 15. After that, kind of just trended. Failed to break under that previous low of day, which was 1412. Had a little bit of a pop back into that 1435 area. And once that firmed up, that's when we got real confirmation. And that's where I looked to add even more size, looking for the breakdown of low of day and true selling pressure. And then, so that continued through 14. And then once we got under that 1380 level, then we're pretty much in no man's land for NEO. That's just kind of like another big pivot point. And then as price consolidated down there, that's when we also saw Tesla curl over, and that led to another extreme down leg, which ended up going down to 12.
So this is the 1473 breakout, and I'll just show that on this chart right here. So it was this area right here, just for context. So at this point, we trimmed our size down from the short position. And looking back on the tape and technicals, it actually can be, that trade could have been switched to a long right there. That would have been a fair idea to have. So we have this intraday level tested many times, but it holds. And then we have, which is 1473. And we have price consolidating at VWAP at this level. As opposed to the last few tests where one would look to short as a pop, this time the tape showed strength and confirmed the idea of the breakout as it held the 70s. Nearly all prints at offer whilst it was lifting. We still did not have a lower high on higher time frames, so it could be a good entry looking for a move back over 15. And here's tape. It'll occur at about 10 seconds into it. So, and it goes really fast. So watch the offer here and watch the increased buying pressure. So, right here, see how it just went super fast right there? And a lot of the bids were able to step up really, really fast and catch up to the offers as a lot of buying pressure occurred here on the time and sales. So that's what we saw here, and that made us lose our conviction, especially since this occurred as a break above VWAP. And if you look in the chart right here, there was kind of a double top about to form, and then it broke that significant level. So it was the opposite of a stuffed move, essentially, in that caused us to lose conviction on this portion of the trade right there. And that's the reason for sizing down at this level.
Good. I mean, that's a good example of what may get you out of position, which is you see a level that's significant where the momentum may be changing, and the stock has increased buying pressure above that level, indicating that that momentum is changing as well. And
yes.
really good job of being able to capture that with the tape right there. Really good example of that buying pressure that you'll see in lots of different types of setups. So I like how you capture that there.
Yeah, so this is where we set that lower high that I was talking about in the higher time frame and filling to get over the pivot point, 15. So yeah, in this clip we see had strong momentum coming into 15 following the breakout, but then when we're getting to the high 90s, there's really a decrease in buying momentum, and I think that's partially discovered to being a huge seller on the offer 15. You can't see it on this tape, but on Great Trades tape you could. And after this, sellers really started to step down, and 1496 became a level with more stacked offers. And after they failed to lift price, we winded back down to the low 90s. So if you just want to watch it real quick. So yeah, so here we're getting into the 90s. We see still some buying pressure, but coming to 95, we start to see more prints on the bid, so some selling pressure as well. Not really any bid stacked anywhere, offer stacks. This is kind of like a 50-50 still in my opinion. But coming to 95, we see a bit more offer stacked, still a lot of prints done there. And then as we get over 96, we really see just a change in character. You don't really see as much buying pressure anymore as we were seeing before. The momentum's dying a bit. And then once we fail to get over that again, 96 starts to stack, and we slowly start to wind down back to the 90s. Yeah, so that's about it for this clip.
Yeah, so when you start to notice we got above 95, 96, 97, and you notice you don't see the buying pressure on the offer like you did up into that point, that is an indication that the buyers aren't really willing to pay up here. And that can be, particularly if something's extended, an opportunity for you to make a trade decision. If you're long, that it may be time to sell. If you're flat, that it may be time for you to short. So that is something you really want to notice. All right, it's going up, it's going up. How is it going up? They're really paying the offers. How are they paying the offers? They're paying the offers very forcibly. Every time it gets to a new price, they continue paying the offers automatically. They're doing that 93, 94, 95, 96, 97. Oh, wait, they're not doing that anymore. Oh, the buy order may not go any higher. And that is real information. That's an example of, and particularly if the stock then gets below a particular area that it hadn't gotten below before, that's an example of potentially of us seeing that the stock's about to change based on the tape. So good, another good example there from the tape that you guys have captured.
Yeah, so in this next clip, this is kind of after we sold off back into low day, failed to print under, and then we had a bit of a pop back into that 1435 area, which is the one that I was mentioning pre-market. And yeah, so this is what I thought was a good area to add some size in, because, you know, we just had a strong sell-off. We're obviously going to have a bounce, you know, shorts covering or people trying to buy near support areas, which was that lower day level. And you see, really, so you're going to see it in the tape. It just really confirms that buyers are like getting to the 15 area, not willing to buy up there and offer stacking. So let's just check that out. Oh, but yeah, you can just see there kind of the offer stacking there, not really any buying prints. And then after we fail to get over that, offers start to stack lower, come down lower, bids as well. Well, you can't really see it much on this tape. And then once we get under the 30 level, we start to see some more selling momentum.
Okay, good. And that's an example right there where if you want to short the pop, if you want to wait for the pop and short the turn, you can see at that 35-cent area, it runs out of steam. And you can start to short against that and short against 30 cents when it starts to fail with some stops above 36 and 41 cents. So we talk about that a lot. Hey, I want to be short, let me let it pop, and then let me see the turn and be aggressive on the turn. And we use our tape reading skills to find that turn for the particular stock. So lots of other things set up the trade for us, but the actual entry, shorting the turn, comes from our tape reading skills. All right, good.
So this is the last tape clip we have, and this was at $12 bounce. So 12 wasn't really a significant level, but a whole number. And at this point, NIO was selling off extreme, and we're down nearly 3 ATR from that 1530 high. And this was also after Tesla was starting to unwind and pretty much the whole EV sector. But right before testing 12, you know, there was some signs of slowing down on the tape. We weren't seeing that extreme selling pressure, you know, just going straight down, a falling knife, as people would say. And you can see on the tape 12 weeks super quick. And after that, we start to see bids raise a little bit, more prints on the offer, and really no stacking on the offer or much selling pressure. And I think this is a good point to look for a scalp. You know, it's kind of hard to catch a falling knife unless you have like a lot of variables align. But the variables that have aligning for this kind of a move is you have an exhausted down move, you have a whole number to risk off of, you can see the bids firming up on the tape, and there's really no resistance to the upside. And if you executed this flawlessly, you would have gotten over an ATR after it did the whole bounce, which you can see on the bottom of the chart there. So go really quick. Like, it was the first second, it just wicked. And then after this, we kind of saw selling not really as extreme as it was before. And then the bids slowly start to rise. There we go, we're seeing a move already back into the 1220s. Offers not stacking anywhere. But, you know, especially in NIO, you like to see, if you're looking for some resistance or something on the tape, you like to see huge numbers. It's a very liquid name. And speaking about liquidity, I mean, on this day, NIO traded more than half the float, which is insane for something with an 800 million float. And then going on to trade management is how I executed it. So we had, that double stuff move which I was talking about, which is where I got a feeler short in that 49 area where there was weakness on the tape, and then just adding on pops, 1470s to 1480s was a big level of resistance, and obviously covering on the down moves, to pay myself and cover some risk. And then I really took off most of my size when we got over that 1475 level, which we showed the tape before, because that's just a change in character and we were seeing real buying momentum come in. So whilst my stop was at 15, I think there was a really good chance of me getting stopped out. So if it does look like I'm going to get stopped out, I want it to be on lower size, and I always know that I'll be able to get back in. And once we got that confirmation that 15 failed, and we had that lower high in the higher time frame, this is where I was really looking for that proper backside move. I shorted when we had the lower high, I popped into another lower high, and then I was pretty much just looking at playing the momentum. I added a Momalot when 1430 was really weak. We saw kind of a decrement play, and I covered into lower day. And then once we had that pop, with that bounce from lower day, and we showed that resistance at 1435, that's when I added a lot of my size, because now I have like a clear defined risk, and I still have a good average from my initial entry. And then I was just covering into defined targets. And I think the biggest mistake I did, which we go over later kind of, is, we had this big consolidation. We're now under that 1380 area, which was that pre-market low, and now getting into no man's land. And into this consolidation, I wasn't really looking at the bigger picture. And we obviously had Tesla start to unwind, and I really should have been looking to add and have more size for the next further down leg.
All right, go back to the slide.
Oh.
That's what I was afraid of. So this is not a backside trade. So this is very good momentum trading. This is good stock selection. This is a good job using Tesla to give you a little bit more information for momentum trading. Hey, I've got an area in NEO that I'm noticing I'd like to short against because it's a little bit heavy, or if it gets below a certain price, I'd like to short because the momentum will be to the downside. And I'm noticing that Tesla is selling off, and that's the leader. Let me use that as information. So you're doing a good job of all of that. That's actually terrific. But that's momentum trading. And it's a perfectly legitimate way to trade, and it's a terrific way to trade when you're starting. But it's not a backside trade. A backside trade is more of a swing trade. A backside trade needs certain variables which are not here. There's no deep red candle with elevated volume that moves away from price that we haven't seen ever for the first days of the up move. We're not seeing a lower high that is more tepid than we would expect that we can trade off of and haven't seen again for the many days it's been green. It's just not, it's not a backside trade yet. So, and that's important because we got to sort of know what we're doing. This is momentum trading. This is good momentum trading. But backside trading is we see the change and we're going to swing it. We're going to hold it maybe for 1, 2, 3 days because we see that change. And yes, we're going to take profits into large down moves and short the pops. But we're going to more swing it. So good. And I like the way you take profits here. And I like, but you got to change the entire title to this to excellent momentum trading done by you guys. Excellent momentum scalping. Excellent momentum medium-term trading. All good. Lots of good stuff here. And I just would suggest to you, not clear to me that what you think, we're going to have to go over what a stuff trade really is, because it's not clear to me that those are examples of stuffs. Stuffs tend to be, well, we'll go over them. We'll go over them. And Ryan, who's going to talk to you guys on Wednesday, is really particularly good at stuffs. Those look like just heavy failures, just things that happen in the course of business. Maybe one of them was the stuff, but not so sure.
Yeah, no, thank you for the feedback. I'd say basically to be more specific for us in the future, would you say the backside trade is more of a longer term sort of full day or 2 to 3 day type of trade?
Well,
Whereas this is more
it can be a 1 day trade, it can be a 2 day trade, it can be a 3 day trade. Depends on how you're looking at trades. So Swang's going to take a lot of 1 day trades. Shark's going to take some 3 day trades. It depends on who you are.
Okay. Thank you.
But the backside gets put in a very specific way. And it tends to, not always, but it tends to get put in by seeing a deep red candle with elevated volume that you have not seen the entire way up, that signals, hey, the sellers are starting ready to panic, and the buyers are stepping away, and it just has that move out of nowhere, and then it goes up and it makes a lower high, and that lower high is tepid and doesn't go up as much as you would think. It starts to create a consolidation area in that lower high, and then it gets below that next consolidation area from that lower high, and you really see the momentum coming out of it. And so you have the opportunity to short the lower high because you saw the variables of a backside trade being put in. And you have the opportunity to really hit it hard when it gets below that consolidation area because it's a backside trade. But again, really good job using Tesla. Do more of that. Really good stock selection. You can see these momentum trades really work. So you're shorting the heaviness, you're shorting the resistance that's clear and different on the tape, and you're shorting lows below significant support areas, indicating a momentum's going to come out of it, and you're in a sector that's really hot. So
hey, go ahead and click our subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos that we're producing for you in the trading community. And please take the time to add your feedback in the comments section for what videos you'd like for us to produce next and what you found helpful from this video. From all of us at SMB, train and trade well.